Welcome to the Maine Famous podcast. I'm your host, April Shaw Bodwin, and today I get to sit down with Jessica and Brady Brim-DeForest. They own Camp DeForest in Lincolnville, Maine, and it's basically authentic camp living without the mosquito bites or the leaky faucets. It's Wes Anderson-inspired and about the most fun you're going to have at a stay in the Midcoast here. They have some of the most dynamite answers to the lightning round questions at the end, so don't miss them. We'll get to the interview in just a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Simon Griffiths, President and CEO of Camden National Bank. Camden National Bank is celebrating 150 years of standing beside the people, businesses, and communities that make Maine and New Hampshire home. And at the heart of it all is you. Every step of the way has been made possible because of your support. Even as we've grown, one thing has remained: our deep commitment to the communities we serve. We're not just here to offer financial guidance. We're here to show up, lend a hand, and be a true partner through life's big moments and everyday milestones. We're especially grateful to Maine Famous for shining a light on the local businesses and neighbors who shape the heart of Maine. Thanks for being part of our story.
Jessica, Brady, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Pleasure to be here, April. Thank you.
Well, we're going to jump right into this interview. Brady, Camp DeForest opened last May, so it hasn't even been open for a full year. But I had an interview with you shortly after it opened. We did a post on Instagram all about Camp DeForest. And I don't know if you remember saying this, but I asked you what you were famous for. And I've asked hundreds of business owners what they're famous for. And Brady's answer stuck out to me the most. He said that Camp DeForest is unapologetically playful. That's what you're famous for. And I love that. And I also know that every little bit of Camp DeForest was created very intentionally. And I want to hear about your journey from, was it Oregon that you both grew up in the same town?
Yes.
So you've known each other
Since we were 7.
No.
Yeah.
7 years old. And now here you are in Maine.
Yes.
And I want to know, how did you land here?
Ooh, it's a fun story. Like most things in life, you can connect the dots going backwards, but not necessarily going forward. So we both grew up in Southern Oregon, a little town called Ashland, which was famous for its Shakespeare festival. So we spent many a summer watching Othello and Romeo and Juliet, and that kind of gave me a bit of a theatrical bug. And so I ended up going to film school at USC in Los Angeles, and was there for 20 years. And Jessica, I convinced her to move down in probably like 2011. Maybe.
November 2011.
Yeah, there we go.
Very specific.
Yeah. So she was in LA with me for 10 years, and then it was a like many people's story. It was the early pandemic, and we thought it might be nice to get out of Dodge for a bit, and so we were thinking about a summer place in Maine, and we bought our home sight unseen in Northport.
Really?
Yeah, we bought it in May of 2020, and then we.
But it did pass the smell test first. Our friend from Round Pond went up and looked at it, and he said it's very clean and it smells really good, and I don't smell
really
any mold.
And he said this is the driest basement I've ever seen in Maine.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, that seems like it checks the boxes. We didn't quite know what we were getting ourselves in for, but when we drove across country 4 months later, and we drove up the driveway, we were like, and we walked in. It was this is perfect. And then we thought at first that it would just be a short term, be here for the summers. And that first year we spent a winter in Maine.
Oh.
And that was a bit of a shock because
Yeah.
both of us growing up on the West Coast, where the coldest it really ever gets is maybe like 32. Dealing with single digit.
Yeah, it's a different kind of cold.
I learned all about heating bills.
Yeah, those are no joke. It increases, I think, everyone's by, you have your property tax bill and then you have your heating bill.
Yeah,
and they're
right.
usually kind of similar.
Yeah.
That is you're not wrong about that.
Unexpected costs of living
Yes.
in Maine. I don't think people talk about that when they're like thinking about relocating.
Yeah.
Especially if you've never lived in New England. But it's totally amazing. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful places you could ever hope to land. We spend part of the year here. We are cold weather people, so that's nice.
We spend the winters. We winter in Maine and summer elsewhere.
But it's like, honestly, Maine is a little bit too warm for us in the summer. Which
really?
Sounds, or for me personally, yeah, it sounds crazy. But
so where do you go?
We go to Scotland.
Okay.
Where things are a little bit more mild. It's warmer winters, but cooler summers.
And so all of your travels, I mean, if we go back to the beginning of theater and Shakespeare, I know that you've been really conscious about creating an experience. To go to Camp DeForest is not to choose a place to stay and you're going to go out and do all your things and just land there to sleep. It's a place you could just go and be. That's the whole vacation.
Yeah.
And so I know that there's some really cool stories behind how Camp DeForest came to be, including the name. I thought the name was so clever without ever meeting you and knowing that was your last name. I was like, oh, it's a camp in the forest. And then I learned, I was like, oh, this is crazy. But you have a whole theme. It's a Wes Anderson.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad that you thought it was of the forest, because a lot of people don't get the French connection and they'll think that we're here to deforest everything, which is not really the case, because I personally came from a background. My parents were huge into like ecological preservation, and on our 20 acres, we planted 20,000 trees.
Wow.
So I would say that we're more into the reforest, but I'm glad that that's
reforest.
Yeah, Camp Reforest. But there's a lot of forest out here and it's really beautiful. And I think the Wes Anderson sort of came about just sort of like as a byproduct of the vision that we, it took us a long time. I remember we were fighting so much about the name, the process of the name.
I wanted to name it after her family.
Oh.
Yeah.
And she really resisted that.
Well, there's a complicated history there. And I was like, let's just go with something a little more straightforward and simple.
Her family's from Norway.
Oh,
and,
okay.
The family name, well, Norway, they have patronymic names, and then they have a geographic name that's attached, so your surname changes depending on what town you live in.
Or like a postcode.
Yeah,
and so like by the time
Oh,
my ancestors immigrated, they took their town name with them. So they were Vongans, but then they don't have then they became Americans and then they became Wongans.
Huh.
And my dad,
It was not his favorite name.
It was not his favorite.
Oh, okay.
And in design, as much as you want to put whatever it is in your brain into something, you kind of have to take the more permaculture route and go sit in the space and see what it's asking for. And so when we bought this mid-century motel, motor lodge in Lincolnville, it needed a ton of love. And it also kind of needed to be its history sort of excavated a bit and brought back, because, it had lived all these different lives since the 1950s when it was built. And so it was sort of just more like polishing something off that was already there. And then taking all of these experiences that we had in Maine and meeting all these people. And like a majority of the stuff that we've decorated it with have come from our neighbors in Maine, from Facebook Marketplace and local antique stores. And so all of the decor is sourced from Maine. And like that felt more like the more real, the more interesting thing that we could do was really create this space that once you were in it, you really felt like all of the history, all of the culture, all of the little nuanced things, the sports, the fishing, the sailing, all of the things that people really love to do here, all kind of like bundled in this sweet little space that you could relax in and then go out and explore all those things later, and then but feel like you're part of it and feel like you're part of the history. And so I think that's where we got really excited. And
I think that when Brady was giving me a tour, he said that you chose every single thing that is in each room. Is that true? Did I remember that correctly?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I mean, it took a couple years for the remodel or the renovation, the full renovation, because it was completely gutted, and we
literally have the 5 buildings on site, 4 of them completely torn down.
Wow.
And rebuilt. And when I say torn down, I mean, to the foundations. The footprint's exactly the same, but they had suffered from years of deferred maintenance. And we realized, at first we thought this will just be as an aesthetic, it'll be a redecoration. But we realized that we had to go deep in order to make something that was sustainable for ourselves. We wanted to winterize everything, so we had to move all the water lines underground. So we basically just redid everything.
Wow.
So that took a really long time.
Yeah, which gave us plenty of time to go out and do our collecting.
Yeah. So we were finally, so early on we kind of figured out what we wanted, and we brought in a designer to help us because we've designed things before.
Mm-hmm.
We have a vacation home in Southern California called the Powerhouse, and it's all mid-century space themed. It's really fun. And we'd been written up in some design magazines for that, and I think that's kind of what we caught the bug. I mean, we'd always been really like creative and into design, but I think that was like the hospitality design piece that came together. So yeah, we found a designer because we realized that you got to know when you don't know something, and that was really helpful. She's from Vermont. Her name is Joanne Palmisano. Sorry, her name is Joanne Palmisano. She's a dear friend now. She wrote a book called Styling with Salvage, and that was kind of in the beginning when we were like, we're really gonna take this old thing and make it the best we can. But now it's basically a new thing with some old things in it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that's the perfect way to say it. Yeah. I mean. And it's open year round. That's the other thing. So it's winterized and it's open year round. You provide year round jobs for locals, which is really great.
Yeah.
There's so many places that totally shut their doors in the wintertime. So I admire that. And I know a lot of other locals really appreciate that too.
I think because we're here in the winter, we were like, well, it would be pretty silly to
it's not
a place that we couldn't even, we couldn't frequent.
But we do need to get the word out on the. We're starting to add food. We got our liquor license. And we're adding food services. We have a gourmet hot dog selection. We have an elk dog, and a lot of other like kielbasa and other specialty local, Maine-made sausages, which is really exciting, and
we're the only place on the Midcoast, I think, or maybe I shouldn't say, it's the only place in Lincolnville and Belfast. I haven't checked Canyon that's open for lunch and dinner
open
7 days a week.
7 days a week?
7 days a week, yeah.
Okay.
From noon to 8.
Yep.
I need to do some more posting
and 9 p.m.
about
on
that.
Friday and Saturdays.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
And we're actually just about to launch, this summer we're launching our newest concept, which is really exciting. So we'll have two dining options on site. Yeah.
Okay. Open to the public. Amazing.
Yeah,
okay.
open to the public, exactly.
You're gonna tell us what this new.
Oh yeah.
Like,
So,
I know.
as Jessica was saying, we've dabbled in different parts of hospitality. So Jessica ran a experiential marketing and events company in LA for many years. One of our early collaborations was a tiki bar. I've been a big tiki fan since I met a guy named Jeff McPherson, who was introduced to me by Tosca Musk, and they co-produced the very first video podcast on iTunes called Tiki Bar TV.
No way.
Yeah. And so Tosca invited me over to the studio one day right after they had built. Jeff was in Vancouver, relocated to Venice, California, and they bought a condo on Abbot Kinney. They built a full pirate ship, the insides of it, in the basement of the condo, and that was their studio. And I had no idea what tiki was. I walked in like through the front door. I'm in this totally different world. I'm suddenly in the South Seas and the belly of a pirate ship. And Jeff was there with his full rig and all the tiki regalia, and he just started making tiki drinks. And I had no idea, because I'd never had a tiki drink, that they're these really fruit forward, pure kind of expression of this fusion of American and Polynesian culture. And I fell in love with tiki. And so Jessica and I, in our travels over the years, would always make a point to go out and experience different tiki bars everywhere we went. And so we've been to tiki bars all around the world. And we were thinking about building a tiki bar in our basement, because we need to have tiki in our lives. And we also, we had a tiki bar in Topanga in California for a number of years. And so we had all this this tiki stuff. And we thought, well, we should build a tiki bar in a basement. And then we realized, actually, we should probably build a tiki bar at Camp DeForest and share tiki with Maine. So we're taking a slightly different approach. We're building tiki in the pines. So it's we're bringing all the fun parts of tiki bar food and drink, but we're fusing it with things that are very Maine, pine and blueberries.
What?
Forest animals. I mean, where he says he was introduced to Tiki at how old were you?
I was in my 20s.
I, on the other hand, have been in love with Tiki since Disneyland, and I went to the Tiki room. So I think that there's that really, like, it's kind of with Camp DeForest, is very, like, fun, theatrical element to Tiki, and especially my introduction was, like, less on the alcohol side, more on, like, I don't know if you've ever seen the Tiki room at Disneyland.
I can't remember it.
It's the same experience, and it's really about the vibe and the whole atmosphere and less about the alcohol itself. And I mean, we're going to have really good rum. I'm not saying the rum's going to be cheap, but it's just like out of the, because they're very large. So like it's a lot of juice.
And I think with the changing drinking patterns too, like people are drinking a lot less. And so creating a place that you can still gather and enjoy a night out, but you don't have to, alcohol doesn't have to be the center point. It's there. It's part of the experience. But we wanted to create something that
it was inclusive.
Exactly. And had a draw, and like Jessica said, a place where you can come and have this kind of otherworldly experience. So we're really excited. We're knocking on wood, hoping that we will open in July. But with these things, you never know. Might end up being late summer. We'll see.
Okay. Well, we'll bring Lauren, the photographer, here today down and have her take some photos of the Tiki. I'm already very excited about it. I want to back up. So you talked about I don't know if you still have that place in California that's called Apollo, that's space themed. Brady, I know you have a connection to space.
Yes.
And I'd love for you to share a little bit about it.
Happily, yeah. So I come from a software background, and I would not consider myself an engineer, but I have engineering proclivities, I suppose.
Okay.
And after I sold my last company a few years ago, which was an enterprise software firm, I realized that I wanted to do something in the hard sciences. And so I started looking for opportunities. And one I found was here in our collective backyard down in Brunswick. It's a Maine-based propulsion and rocket company called Blue Shift. And they've been around for a number of years. And I joined as their biggest investor, and now sit on the board as their chairman. Blue Shift is really interesting because it's building hybrid propulsion systems, which are kind of an undiscovered territory in aerospace, because traditionally most focus has been on liquid propulsion systems. Our hybrid propulsion system is unique in that it's uses a non-toxic fuel core that's actually sourced from farms. So it's a proprietary fuel, but it's edible, and it can be and it can be loaded onto manned missions, which gives it a tremendous flexibility. So if you have a large heavy lift rocket, you can put our rockets for point-to-point solutions once you're in orbit, which is really, really neat. And to see that kind of innovation happening here in Maine is really a testament to how much is going on here that isn't really obvious at first sight.
Right. I grew up in Gorham, Maine, which is, 2 hours south of here. It's probably the same size as Camden, maybe a little bit more people than Camden, but everyone was kind of like, they worked on a farm or they worked at IDEX. There was very little creativity, I would say. And so that was my experience of Maine. And when I moved to Camden 6 years ago, every single person has a more interesting story than the last. And you guys are not the exception. I think you guys are way up on the top of that list, because Brady, you've also written a book.
Yes.
And that is about, it's called Smaller is
Smaller
Better.
is Better, yeah. How small autonomous teams are driving the future of enterprise. So it's about... at its core, how you can build scalable systems for large-scale organizations, but it applies to small-scale organizations as well, using small autonomous teams. And it's a framework and a guide, really, to how to implement the small autonomous team systems inside of your organization. And it was a real journey to write. It took me 4 years because I'm terribly slow at writing. But what was interesting is that it actually forced me to actually codify my own thoughts, and that was really. I recommend now writing a book to anyone that has a unique perspective on something, because writing the book really forces you to sharpen the way that you even express your ideas. But it was a very gratifying experience, and I learned a lot.
I don't know how you've each lived 5 lives, and you have 4 children on top of this. So, I mean, you had your experience marketing company. And how old are your kids?
Oh, they are 7, 6, 3 now, and 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
A house full.
A house full, and you bring them all around the world, and
yeah,
it's so cool that they get to grow up seeing you both build so many cool things. Did you both grow up that way too? Were your families builders? Did you have this modeled for you? I'm a psychology major, so I always want to know. I always want to know.
I would say no. I think that maybe there's just something off in my brain that I'm a terrible employee. Like you don't want me to work for you. And so I kind of early on, I discovered, well, the only thing I can really do is do something, I have to make something or build something, because I won't be useful to anyone otherwise. But I think that, of course, we're the byproducts of our own genetics, and I would say my mother really was an inspiration for me. She was extremely entrepreneurial, but in I would say a non-commercial way. She didn't quite figure out how to make money making things, but she always was working on a new idea. She launched a math magazine when I was a child. She was an educator. And I would say, and she also homeschooled us. And the gift that I really am forever thankful to her for giving us was this innate sense that learning was the best thing in the world. And she encouraged a level of curiosity in us that I think has served me extremely well, because I really can't help but figure out how something works. It doesn't matter what it is. If you throw me into something, I have to understand, what makes it tick. And I think that once you start to realize the entire world, was just kind of designed by people arbitrarily, and anything can be changed, it really empowers you to actually change things.
And I think that, going back to your genetic thing, I think that it probably is a lot of that. I mean, that's how we met. His grandfather, my father, were professors at the university, and my father was a psychologist. And his mom and my mom were friends, and I think that they were all in higher education, or they had been highly educated, and they were motivated. Yeah, but my family, my dad loved horses, so we always had horses. I joke that he was a horse girl, because he was just obsessed with horses. But he was that cowboy, intellectual cowboy. And we wouldn't just go camping. We would go horse camping. When we were camping, the men cooked, and the women, got to kind of take a break. And then the men were getting the horses, and we would go trail riding. And it was that was all my life was camping every summer. And then later I did Outward Bound, and I was in a wilderness charter school, so we did lots of backpacking. And so a lot of that is just coming through at camp, where it's really, I was never a Girl Scout. I always wanted to be a Girl Scout, but the camping was always a huge part of life.
So I think it's all infused into the fabric of
what a cool story.
But I think since I've always wanted to be a Girl Scout, we are starting our own scout group
now.
We're going to call them the Marshmallow Scouts.
Oh, I love
from
that.
Our little Marshall character.
Yes.
And we're going to teach them survival skills, because I think that there's clearly tech is important, but I still think that there's a ton of that stuff that I was taught when I was little, and that we were taught. We went to this resident outdoor school.
How to start a fire.
How to build a shelter. How to tie a knot. Things that actually do come in handy later. I think it just also helps that critical thinking part of your brain as a child to, I don't know, and have these experiences and group experiences. So we're excited, because part of our other venture is the Camp DeForest
Adventure Center, which is opening this summer. So it's an annex that's up the road in Northport, and we're hoping to open, I would say July, but it's
Wow.
July.
July's a big month. We built a 5 run fully audible climbing wall.
Like 2-story climbing wall. We're going to put a big gym floor down. We're going to have some equipment. We put a 10 by 10 mirror in so we could have dance and yoga. And I want to start hosting baby raves.
And we're gonna do a ropes course as well outside eventually. We're trying to create, more programming.
Yeah.
And that's something that, we found in our first years. Depending on when you come to Maine, there's either a lot to do and everything is booked, or there's nothing to do. And so we want to create, experiences that are kind of all season. And so that was why, I used to climb, I did for many years, and I started to climb again a couple of years ago because it was like it's the best exercise, and it's the easiest sport that you can, all you need if you're traveling, because pretty much every major city has an easily accessible climbing gym. All you need is your climbing shoes. So I just throw my climbing shoes in my bag, and then I would just, after a day full of meetings, go hit the rock wall. And I was looking for one around here. The nearest one is up outside of Bar Harbor, and then there's one down in Portland. So the whole Midcoast is completely unserviced for indoor rock climbing. And outdoor is awesome around here, but it doesn't really work well when it's 20 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Unless
Nobody's
you're super hardcore.
Right. You're not going to bring your kids to the ice.
Right. Exactly.
The ice cliff.
Exactly. Yeah.
By Magunta Cook.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think eventually we'll probably build like a dance hall too.
Wow.
Well, we might not need to if we've got the adventure center, but
I think it would be fun.
well, we have all these ideas. We really want to do like a spa. Like we've got like a list of things. Like what should we do? Spa, like lodge, all these other things, but I think
we'll get there eventually. We're phasing
or we just
it.
have to see, what the need is.
Tiki bar first and adventure center.
Like what makes sense.
Well, there are so many people I think that move here from away, and maybe they're generous with donating money to certain causes or nonprofits locally. But you guys are coming here and like enriching Maine culture for the community and for away, and you're doing it yourselves, and you're bringing other locals in, like, and you're creating jobs. Like that's one of the most inspiring stories that I've got to hear yet through Maine Famous.
Thank you. That's a huge compliment. That's so sweet.
Really is.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're almost going to wrap up, and I could talk to both of you for the rest of the day. I could cancel the rest of the interviews. We could just talk all day.
Vice versa.
But for the listeners, what do you hope that guests take away from their experience when they come to Camp DeForest?
I think April, for me, Camp DeForest is about making memories. And I think all of us have these moments from our childhood that are iconic and that really reflect and become part of our family story. And I think Camp DeForest is designed specifically for that. We didn't know that going in. We imagined that we were building a place for couples to escape for romantic weekends, but what we ended up building was a place where you can have truly multi-generational experiences. You can bring your entire family to camp and use it as a launch pad for all of your Midcoast adventures, but still have a place to come back to every night, sit around the campfires. Make s'mores, tell ghost stories. But importantly, it's the kind of place that what we've discovered is people want to keep returning to. When we have these, especially family groups, so we found they wrap up their week at camp and then they immediately book for the next summer. And that's really gratifying. And it can be, I think, a part of a family's myth making, if you will. It's your summer escape. Not everyone has their own camp on the lake somewhere, so Camp DeForest can be that for you.
To go along with that too is just like the playfulness. Like once you're in there, I think to go a little deeper, like the details are really important, and they've been really important to us. And so like, yeah, playful is such a great word for the space, because there's tons of games. There's like yard games and horseshoes and
Frisbee golf.
Like, what's that one with the bean?
Cornhole.
The cornhole. Oh my gosh. The cornhole. And then inside we've got shuffleboard, and we've got all these old like vintage games that are all in the lodge ready to go. You can take them back to your room. And then in every room and available for sale in the lobby is our game that we made specifically for Camp DeForest called Camp DeForest, which is a marshmallow toasting game that we made with another local, our good friend Anderson Pinckney, who is the scone goddess's son.
Oh, yeah.
We call him the scone demigod.
He's our scone demigod. Yes. And so that collaboration's been amazing.
And the game is like
the
really
game
taken
is
off.
so fun.
It's now been picked up by a bunch of local
Oh,
retailers, so you can
that's
find
so
it in
cool.
other shops around here.
Yeah, down at White Rabbit, down at Out on a Whimsy. There's another store somewhere deep in Maine that bought like 500 copies of it. So I
Wow.
don't know where that is, but the little details, like the little things that you see, the comforts, and then Ben, I think, has been great, and he's
our general
making some
manager.
amazing
yes.
food, and like so these next few months are going to be awesome with like food offerings and the menu and like these new spaces that we're creating. So it's an exciting thing, and I hope that locals and people from away will come and enjoy it because we're really trying to create a space for people to enjoy.
Mission accomplished. Well, we're going to do the lightning round, and we're going to get into it in just a moment. But first, a word from our sponsors. Come walk the wharf at Lyman Morris. Grab a coffee at Vacation Land, pick up a board from Camden Charcuterie, sip a cocktail at Blue Baron, and then head upstairs to Salt Wharf for dinner. And don't rush off. Stay for the sunset. It's the sunny side of Camden Harbor. Taking care of your home just got easier. Porch Roofing is a full-service exterior company, providing roofing, gutters, exterior services, and a full repair division, all with one trusted team. Visit horchroofing.com or call 207-250-5529. Samples Shipyard in Boothbay Harbor is one of Maine's most iconic working waterfronts. They handle wooden boat restoration, modern yacht service, and everything in between. It's a place built on generations of craftsmanship. Contact them now about moorings, dockage, service, and storage. So here we go. We have 6 questions.
Ooh.
First one. First thing you noticed when you walk into a hotel room.
I mean, for me, it's definitely decor or lack of decor.
It's such a good question, April. I'm trying to think. The very
Well,
first
you
thing.
always notice that there's no fan, or or there is a fan, or whatever.
I bring my own fan with me.
I bring my own fan with me. I'm obsessed.
But you don't need to do that
that's why every room at
DeForest.
Camp DeForest has a fan.
We have a fan for you. Don't worry. These are things we've thought about. So I think that's literally the first thing you look for. But
No, because I know there's no fan. I'm usually looking at the lights, which is weird because I've been in so many really awesome places that didn't put lights in the ceiling, and it makes it impossible to pack.
Number 2, campfire or cocktail bar? And I think I really have to modify that to tiki bar.
I'd say like take the cocktail to the fire.
There we go. Yep.
Perfect answer. Number 3, a small detail at Camp DeForest that you're irrationally proud of.
I think for me it's the ice machine.
Okay.
In the lobby,
Okay.
because we most people would just put an ice machine, in the lobby, and we worked with Peter Walls, a local muralist and painter, and it took a lot of time and energy, but we had him fabricate a custom cover for the ice machine and hand painted Stay Frosty on it, and it's just one of those things that totally unnecessary. But if you're going to have an ice machine, if you're going to do something, you may as well do it well, and it's got to fit in the theme.
Number 5, if Camp DeForest had a soundtrack, what's one song on it?
Oh, that's really good. Well, we have a Camp DeForest song.
Yeah, we have a theme song. Yeah. So that would be it. Yep.
That song.
In fact, every day if you're at camp, we play Reveille and taps.
We play Reveille at checkout, so we remember that it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
No pressure.
And the theme song plays every day at 8:30 across the camp speaker
Oh my
system.
God.
So,
That's amazing.
I think you can get it on Spotify, right?
It's on Spotify.
So if you need to hear this song, that would be at the top of our list. It's on Spotify. It's just called Camp DeForest,
the theme song. Yeah.
I should have just made the whole interview lightning round questions. These are so good. The last one, here we are. Finish this sentence. The best hospitality experiences feel like
magic.
I don't know. For you, magic. For me, I don't know.
I think magic comes in many different ways. So it's like magic is when something that you didn't even know that you needed handled is handled. So it's like it's about the way that you're treated more than anything. It's about have someone anticipated your need before you have it. That to me is magic, and that's the best hospitality experience I've ever had. Are when every time you turn a corner, you're like, wow.
It's taken care of.
Yeah.
Kind of like today when we came here and you had breakfast ready for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much. You should go into hospitality.
Well, thank you both so much for being on the show. If you want to learn more about Brady and Jessica, go to campdeforest.com and find them on Instagram. It's Camp DeForest, right?
Yes.
That's the
indeed.
handle.
Yep,
Perfect.
Yep.
And
Or no,
on
it's Camp DeForest ME, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Camp
Yeah.
Camp DeForest ME.
Yeah.
And then on Spotify, Camp DeForest, the theme song.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, April.
Thank you, April. Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
that was so good.
You guys are so sweet.
Yeah, you guys are so sweet.